Hello! This time, I'll guide you on how to create and edit UV mapping for modeling, and then apply textures and colors to the model. UV mapping corresponds to a 2D unfolded map. For 3D objects, textures and colors can be applied using 2D coordinates called UVs. You can perform this task by navigating to Editor, UVeditor. The UV editor interface is quite similar to the scene view and shares similar shortcuts. You can navigate the screen using the icons at the top or by using the spacebar. And you can move, rotate, and scale using the W, E, R keys respectively. You can also use the rectangle tool to adjust the position and size using rectangular corners. The icons on the side represent UV vertex, UV edge, UV face, and the last icon is for selecting connected UV elements. The gear icon is for settings. Here, you can modify settings like snap and other UV editor configurations. The central window displays the UV values of the selected object. You can arrange the UVs in this window to work on textures. Let's first explore the functionality of unwrapping UVs. For convenience, I'll first move the UV editor window next to the hierarchy. Unwrap projects the 3D object onto a 2D plane. Select the faces of the 3D object and execute the necessary unwrap. Plane is used for planar projection. You can project along each axis, toward the world axis direction, or toward the average normal direction of the faces. Cube unfolds UVs based on the direction the selected face is facing. Auto layout automatically unfolds selected faces. Cancel resets the unfolded UVs. LSCM cuts UV edges arbitrarily using the Mark UV Seam and Unmark UV Seam tools in the modeling tool to unfold UVs along those cut edges. Select the desired edge and click Mark UV Seam to create an orange line, indicating the UV seam. To remove the seam, select the edge again and click Unmark UV Seam. Using this method, select the faces where you want the seams and then click LSCM. The UV will unfold based on these marked seams. The selection tool is used to select UV elements. All selects all elements of the selected face. Invert reverses the selected area. Loop selects connected edges to the selected edge. Shared selects UV elements that are separate in UV space but shared in 3D space. The Quick Transform feature is used to flip the selected UVs horizontally, vertically, or around the center, and to rotate them by 90 or minus 90 degrees. Alternatively, when you want to align elements according to specific rules, you can easily do so using the alignment feature. Auto aligns each element to the center. Quad unfolds the UVs into a rectangular shape. Boundary aligns the outer edges and sizes of the last selected elements. Additionally, it aligns elements based on left, center, right, top, middle, and bottom positions. Now let's edit the created UV elements. The Sew tool attaches shared UV edges in the UV editor. Select shared edges or use the Shared tool to select, and then use Sew to merge them. The Move Sew tool is similar, but also moves connected elements when shared edges are merged. The Weld tool merges UV vertices. Weld to first merges to the position of the initially selected vertex. Weld to center merges to the middle position of the selected vertices. And Weld to last merges to the position of the last selected vertex. Detach tool separates selected faces from connected UV elements. The Arrange Group function arranges UV elements uniformly in the texture space. Pack places UVs in the texture space without overlapping and fills empty spaces, while Fit places already arranged UVs tightly in the texture space. The Export tool under MISC exports the UV layout as an image file. The exported image can be used as a guideline for image editing in software like Photoshop or Paint. Once you've edited the texture, you can import it into Unity by dragging and dropping. UVs should generally be laid out so that they do not overlap unless they use the same texture. For clothing, it is best to arrange the UVs to resemble the pattern of actual garments as closely as possible. Use Mark UV Seam to indicate the fabric seams and LSCM to simplify the process. Additionally, create a basic material using a checker map and apply it to the model. If the checker map squares are uniform and evenly distributed, the UVs are properly laid out. Let's work with the UV image exported from Photoshop. First, invert the imported UV by pressing Ctrl+I. Set the blending mode to multiply. Lock this layer to prevent any modifications. Create a new layer and apply the desired color. If you want to add a logo, estimate its position based on the UV lines and place it accordingly, such as on the front upper part. Hide the UV lines by turning off the visibility of the layer and save the file in the desired location. You can then import this texture into Unity for use. It's also possible to work on textures using UModeler X. Entering Painting 3D shows the painting environment. Specify the texture resolution. Select material as Zepeto, and click Start Painting to begin painting. When working in 3D, layers aren't limited to handling colors only. They also allow for adjusting materials. In Map Source, you can press plus to create layers for manipulating attributes like metallicness, highlights, height, or emissive materials. Attributes of these created layers can be adjusted within the layer settings. However, please note that Zepeto imposes restrictions on texture size, so if you have too many maps, your submission may be rejected. Therefore, it's recommended to focus on working primarily with albedo maps for color adjustments. In UModeler X, you can create and edit materials using a layer-based approach. You can add various layers by pressing plus, such as the paint layer for drawing with brushes, the fill layer for filling the entire area, or the sticker layer for partially applying specific images. You have the flexibility to toggle visibility for specific layers and rearrange their stacking order via drag and drop. Depending on the blending mode, layers can appear as they are, be multiplied or added, and you can adjust opacity to control the concentration. You can also create groups to manage layers or control the visibility of groups. Additionally, you can use the solo feature to view only the selected layer. Each layer also allows you to add masks to adjust the visible portions. By selecting albedo, you can choose different map sources to handle other maps for materials, allowing you to modify them accordingly. Let's look at the fill layer. It fills with a single color or texture. You can change the color in color or drag and drop an image onto texture to fill with an image. The tilling option allows for repetition and offsetting of the image. The sticker layer allows you to attach specific images to certain areas. By pressing GAR or the Control key and moving the mouse in the scene view, you can change the size and rotation of the projected plane. When clicking on an object, you can see the image projected from that direction. The paint layer allows you to paint using brushes. You can switch between the scene view and the Painting 2D window to paint. You can adjust brush options and use the eraser tool to erase. You can also paint polygon by polygon or area by area. The painting layer, you can also use AI features. Please refer to the help manual for the installation method of Stable Diffusion. Once installed, in the AI group, enter a prompt for the desired image and click Generate. Thumbnail images will be created below after a while. Keep generating until you get the desired image. When you get the desired image, click Apply Texture to apply it to the layer, and the image will be visible in the scene view. Once texture creation is complete, select Albedo in Map Source and click Export All to extract the texture. Now let's apply the extracted texture to the material and then to the object. Navigate to the desired location in the project. Right-click, Create. Material to create a material. Rename the newly created material. Then, select the shader in Zepeto and change it to the corresponding material. In most cases, you can use the standard shader. Connect the previously extracted albedo texture to the albedo, and the material will be applied to the object. If you want to adjust more details, you can change parameters such as smoothness or shininess in the material to adjust highlights. You can use the materials provided by Zepeto. Select the shader, then choose Zepeto. Built-in cloth. This will give you a shader that more closely resembles clothing material. We've explored UV, texture, and material creation for Zepeto item production. Next time, we'll delve into rigging, which lays the foundation for modeling.